What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Above Ground Music Radio Podcast. I'm the host, Richard Radillo, joined by my guest right across from me, Juan Norato. No, I was saying Naruto.
Naruto. Hey, that happens every single time.
Oh my
Don't
God.
feel bad. That happens every single time.
Okay, how do I pronounce it correctly now? Norato. Okay, I don't want to butcher it again. Norato. Jesus, that's so many anime kids are looking at that and are super jealous of you.
Yeah,
right now.
I know they are. like the show? Yeah. Oh my God.
Man, I'm not good with last names apparently, or just names in general. You can listen to my other podcasts and you'll be like, man, Richard, you don't know how to pronounce anything. But I'll read a book, like one of my college books. I could read every word in that book for some reason.
But when it comes to last names,
last names or just names in general, I'm done. Sidetracking off the intro, but if you haven't listened to the Above Ground Music Radio Podcast and you're joining us for the first time, welcome. What we do here is I, the host, Richard Radillo, is joined by a guest, like I have Juan across from me, and we basically shoot the shit while we also feature 4 songs and we promote whatever else you're doing or your band, because you are in a band, but also you do other stuff outside of being in a band, and we also talk about that. We are going to talk about your new band, or have your new band featured on the podcast for the first time, even though you sent me stuff already. Yeah. But you're like, no, Richard, we're going to play this specific song. I'm like, yes, Juan, we will play that song.
Has to be that one.
It has to be this one. But yes, this is the first song on this podcast, and it's Melt Mars, Echo Volts. Enjoy. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Melt Mars, Echo Volts, a world premiere on the Above Ground Music Radio Podcast. I really appreciate that, sir.
Of course, man.
It's awesome to have bands premiere their stuff or want to play their music on here in general. Yeah. And I think the third band that we've had premiere something, which is awesome.
I think so.
Which is nice to have. But let us start the real part of the podcast. I mean, I don't know. The music's probably where people come in, actually. But we're going to talk for a little bit now, obviously. Cool. Before we start into a topic, let's talk about how we met, sir.
How did we meet? I think we met at a Beatnik show.
We probably did.
I think it was our first, not our first tour. I think it was our second Goon show. And you were there. I think you were the one who was promoting it.
Yes. Or... No, it was. I think the first show I had you guys was at Program.
Okay. Oh yeah. In Fullerton,
right? Let's try to have. Sorry. Wait. Apologize. Somewhat technical difficulties. We're trying to make you as comfortable as possible. Yeah. So I can have the mic just aimed at your face. But yeah.
Like in Fullerton, right?
Yeah. I think it was that one, and then we had you at a Beatnik show.
At a Beatnik show.
I think it was that one. Because I do Charlie before everyone.
You don't. It had to be Program.
But I think the Program show, or maybe it was Max Bloom's. I think you guys were before 10 at the time.
No, I was never on before 10. Charlie's gonna kill me for saying that, but no.
Never. Oh, Maybe I.
Oh
okay,
wait,
maybe
you're right. I was in Before 10 for one.
it had been
For,
one of
for
those
two shows. For two
at
shows.
least one or two.
It was
shows.
Archie's, and then it was Max. It was either no, it wasn't Max Bloom's. It was a program.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like almost 2 years ago already.
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
minute. It's a good minute.
It's been almost 2 years now.
But yeah, you were the only guy that really like. I mean, everyone's has their kind of circle or like their shyness.
Yeah.
But you're like the only one outside of Charlie that really talked to me. I guess.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, dude. I think you were telling me were you in another band at the time too?
No, I was in a band before.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like, oh, I didn't know you do shows or something like that. Like, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't
yeah.
even know of this scene at the time.
Okay.
Because before 10, I was in a band called Head Over Heels,
Okay.
and it was more of a pop punk, more of a heavy pop punk, almost post-hardcore scene.
Okay.
So it was very different. I didn't even know, the scene was like this amazing and this cool.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't know
because
either.
before it was all I knew was pretty much was like, okay, you either get invited to play backyard shows, you play a party, or if you're gonna get a venue, you have to sell tickets and play at the venue. So that's all I've known before.
Yeah. Usually, what I've learned through just being in the scene, like a lot of venues come and go, and bands do as well, unfortunately. But it's like kind of weird. I feel like you have to like have the right timing to like find to get into like the scene that we have here, which is like very diverse. I was talking to Enrique from Broken Sun about this last week. Talk about like the variety of bands we have from each city.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but then we all eventually come together for one or two shows in a way. But yeah, it's been awesome, and then awesome to meet you too, because I found out like you do recordings as well.
Yeah.
And then you've done recordings of like several different bands in the past.
Yeah.
Like Scatterbrain and like 3LH, and then your stuff with the Goons.
Yeah.
Have you done anyone else?
Mount Mars. I did all of Mount Mars.
Yeah.
I did the Admirals back in the day. I did old 3LH, like really, really old 3LH.
Okay.
Like, what was those songs like?
The Green Day songs.
The Green Day songs. Those songs. I did all those. Rudo Skunk back in the day. I don't know. They're known now, I think.
Okay.
I've done Force Fed. I've done Chemical X. Well,
I've heard of them.
At the time, they were known as Anchor Babies.
Okay.
So I've done all those.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. You have like a very good history
Yeah.
and a lot of experience.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know about majority of that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of those bands are actually not really popular in Santa Ana. They're more like Fullerton area, more like hardcore.
Yeah.
That's actually where like the type of music I started recording, like heavy hardcore metalcore music. And that's honestly the music that I started playing drums to, playing like metalcore and hardcore and stuff like that.
Are you like preferred to play that stuff, or you like just play anything?
As I get older, I feel like it's not as cool to play it. Before I just did it because I'm like, dude, I can play this shit, and it's hard. It was hard shit to play at the time, and now it's more of like I need to be in the pocket, make sure I'm staying in groove, and I add to the band.
Okay.
That's more my thing. I prefer to play anything that I have fun with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything that's like a challenge, but also that you perfect, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when it comes to playing drums, the challenging part is not playing the hardest thing you can play. I think there's a lot of things that come into it where you can contribute to the band. For me, right now, what I'm working on the most is dynamics, making sure some parts are just the right, amount of pressure that's being hit. Make sure that you get the tone and the sound out of the drum that you want to get. I feel like that's a lot harder to do when you're playing a song consistently and with the adrenaline of it being live, than it is to play, sextuplets across your toms and freaking paradiddles and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't not that I didn't ever looked at being a drummer like that or what a drummer goes through, but that's a cool take on what you have done in your process. It's pretty neat. One of my things I was going to talk about was like being a drummer in general. So like, how's it been like a drummer in general?
I'll tell you what, it's the best seat in the house. You get to hear everything, and then you're the driving force. I think the best feeling about being a drummer is when you see people bopping their heads, because I feel like that's when you're like, okay, I'm doing my job.
Okay.
But being a drummer is one of the most hardest parts in the band, I think, too, because you're the groove, and if there's no groove, and then I feel like you're not doing your job, and I feel like a drummer can make or break a band.
Okay.
Because you can have a good drummer who is in time and plays correctly, and then you can have a really bad drummer who's out of time and doesn't know how to play drums or anything like that. So it can make or break the band too, up to that point too.
So best seat in the house. Okay, yeah. Because I was talking, I think it was maybe Nathan or maybe it was Jeff, and like he was complaining about like one of the amps being like ridiculously loud right next to him.
Yeah.
So like you've definitely run into that problem.
I do.
So I know I see where like.
But I'm always wearing ear protection.
That's what I wear to shows now.
I always wear ear protection. I feel like me being a drummer and also being like an audio engineer, like my ears are like probably one of the most important things I have. So I can't mess that up.
Yeah.
But I don't really get that issue as much as before, because before I would play without them. But with them now, the amps don't really make a big difference to me because I just zone them out at that point. Yeah.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about, I think what was it the last show I had you guys with the Amiibo Boys? And like you were like, yo, Richard, I think you got the best drummer wrong in the scene. I was just like, oh, damn, dude, I'm being called out right now.
You are being called out. Right
I mean, I don't know. Not that I want to take it back, but I kind of don't in a way. Because like, it's not that like, I don't know. I feel like me and Kevin, I think maybe I just like me and Kevin, because when everyone talks about Kevin, they're like, oh, he's so quiet and stuff. And I'm like, no, he's not. But maybe that because I know Kevin in that way, and the way he explains his process too, and like what I've seen him do. And he's so like, he's like having like fun in a way when I see him play. But I haven't seen you play as much as him though too.
That's true. So. I think the scene has a lot of great drummers. I really like Kevin. He has really good charisma. I want to say good energy. His fills are right on par where I think they would fit the band. And back in the day, me and Kevin would listen to a lot of metalcore too. So I know he can play some shit that probably most other drummers can't.
Okay.
And then I really enjoy Nathan's drumming too, because I feel like Nathan's really precise. When you look at his snare drum, it's a white head, right? But there's a black dot, and most people may assume it's like a black dot from the head, but no, the black dot is coming because he hits the same exact spot every single time. Okay. And that's just being precise, you know? So Nathan and Kevin are probably one of my favorite drummers to watch, just because of that. And also Brandy from
Moonfuzz.
From Moonfuzz, she's pretty cool too. She did core, so she knows her shit too. I think those are probably like my top three right then and there. But overall, Kevin probably has to be my favorite, just because, like you said, I know him. He's a cool guy, and you know, have you ever watched him play live? He looks at me and he'll laugh if he messes up, or he'll flaunt too. Like if he's like, oh yeah, watch this shit right here, and I'm like, hey,
yeah, it's just weird because when I go to there was a time where I was just going to 3L8 shows. And I would just hang out with Kevin because, you know, Rafa and Vivian would just be like out and about. Kevin just be sitting back. And I'd be just like, what's up, man? And then that's how we got to know each other. And then now it is like, now it's just like a thing now. Or we go and like we always like chill and just sit and then talk. Yeah. We don't even talk about music sometimes, which is kind of cool.
Just talk about random shit. A really funny story. When I was recording one of Scatterbrain's songs, I was recording Nathan play drums live. And the drums for that song are really catchy, right? It's a beat, and it goes into like a little cymbal fill. And I think Charlie was trying to play along with him, like air drum, while we were recording. And he went like this during a part to emphasize the little cymbal fill, but the cymbal fill wasn't even there. And so Nathan, looking at Charlie, was like, oh, okay. And he did it, and then he's like, fuck, you fucked me up. Like, what the hell? and I was like, dude. And honestly, like recording Nathan or Kevin, it's actually really fun because they take like 2 or 3 takes. 2 or 3 takes, and they're done. They're like, okay, I'm done. Yeah,
they're like the easiest part of the recording. Everyone else is just yo, dude, can you play this part, please?
People say drumming, like playing drums and recording drums are like the hardest part. With those guys, it's not. It's one or two, 3 takes, and we'll be done.
Oh, that's nice. That's convenient.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I only record bands where I'm like chill with, or like I like the music. If I'm not digging the music, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do that, because at that point it's like, how are you adding to their art? You know, that's how I see it.
Okay, yeah, because the only other, because I've seen, obviously that the only other drummer I really enjoy watching is Joe. I like watching Joseph from the Asthmatics when he plays, but there's Jacob from the Asthmatics. How like crazy he gets.
They get crazy.
But watching him record, I think everything only took 3 takes for everything, or because they just wanted to have Jeff just wanted to have extra stuff just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was only 3 times for him, but it was Joseph that was like being the difficult one, from what I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen how they play live, and they just get crazy on stage and give no fucks. You know, they're just like, "Hey, I'm gonna rock out, and I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you think of the song. I'm gonna rock out." And I think that's amazing. That's
their appeal is
that's
like
a good energy
crazy.
right there. Yeah.
But any other? I mean, like Jeff, he's always like fun to watch because he just smiles. And he's like, and whenever I was recording him, I'm like on my phone, or like if I had a camera. Oh, I used to take my cameras to the shows, but I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, he always just do that weird smile he does all the time, and he always looks tired.
Yeah.
Like first,
like catching his breath.
Like first song, he's like, "Oh, Marty, what am I doing? I should have worked out or something like that for this or something like that."
It takes a toll on you, man. After the show, I know Kevin. I've seen Kevin, and I do it too. Like after the show, you just have to sit down and just like take a breath, because I think it's the adrenaline going, and also like any fast songs you have, it just feels that much faster when you're playing live. But I get what you're talking about from Jeff. Like seeing that guy play, a lot of the songs are really quick. Yeah. So I can't imagine it being him and having to play a 30-minute, 35-minute set. It's like if you're sprinting for 35 minutes straight. Yeah.
And even like Brandy, because Daryl was talking about her a lot when I was recording with him. But Brandy, I know there's a couple songs where she just doesn't. I think it was one of the sandwich shop or the festival one that they did. Yeah. That I watched for Greeting Ghost. And I think one of them, she sighed because she doesn't like playing it because it's like a fast song and she's always like out of breath or something like that. Yeah. So it's like funny to see drummers like struggle, but then they get through it. And you don't really notice it too, like at shows, because everyone's kind of watching obviously the front guys. But some people, like the people that I've like noticed ever since I've gotten into the scene are like the drummers. If ever you see a Sunset Courier show, or I'm not sure if they're, because he's also in this other band called Prepare to Stop. They're a pop punk band in a way, I guess. Kevin, it's Kevin. It's another Kevin. Another Kevin. He has like a light up kit.
Okay, like an LED kit.
Yeah, but it goes off of like his what he's hitting
off the sounds. Okay,
yeah, which is like, and he programmed it himself and whatnot. Yeah, and it's pretty entertaining. Like that was like the first show I went to, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is a light up kit at my first show, bro. This is awesome." But yeah, ever since I've watched that show, I always paid attention to drummers. But I mean, I did in general, but like I'm like, nah, I have like a more precise kind of paying attention to them, I guess, in a way.
I think it's the funnest instrument to play. I think it could also be the hardest because you have to be in total control of all your limbs. So if you play drums and you can control all your limbs, you'll be all right. Light up kits are freaking amazing. I had one back in the day. I'm sure Rafa remembers this like blue one we played with the Admirals. It was just an LED kit, but it was not sound coordinated. So it would just be blue or purple all the time. Okay. Yeah. Those are cool. I think Amoeba Boys has light inside their kit too.
Maybe.
I thought I saw that the other day.
Because they have a clear kit, right?
They have a clear kit and there's lights inside of it. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah. The only thing about clear kits, I feel like they're a little bit harder to tune. So you might not get the sound you want live. Okay. I get that. You don't, I mean, unless you're Travis Barker, you know. Unless you're Travis Barker.
Where you pay like $1 million for a kit and stuff where it's like made by the best material or something like that.
Yeah. He actually gets drums made here in Orange County by Orange County Drums. And all his kits are custom, so he gets everything custom made for him. And I can't say that his kits don't sound amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So let us get into the next song, and then we'll get into some more topics. This artist is an individual for, I think, second time I've had someone that besides Daryl Blake. But this is actually him. All of the instruments in this specific track. This is Matt Zarr. Not Enough. Enjoy. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Matt Zarr. Not Enough. The old drummer from the Gnars. A very interesting. Another Kevin in the way, where you have to go and talk to him, or you have to just sit next to him and then he'll talk to you. Another guy where I just went to shows, and everyone else, like in that band in the Gnars, would be talking to everyone else, and then Matt would be chilling in the back, and then I would just go sit next to him, kind of like a similar. Kevin was. Yeah, like them two were like the same thing. Where I just like talk to them.
They're just chill guys.
And then when you talk to anyone else about them, they're like, "Oh yeah, they're so quiet." I'm like,
"No, they're not."
No, they're not. Yeah. But it was cool to find out that he actually played guitar, but they forced him to play drums because like they needed a drummer.
They needed a drummer.
Yeah, but he picked it up pretty well. And if you listen to some of those Gnars tracks back in every Gnars track at the moment is all him, which is like pretty amazing how quick he picked it up. But that's, I don't know, because I believe he knows like music theory and was like definitely taking classes on.
That's like
that.
the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold.
Mm-hmm.
To me, my opinion, their best album was the self-titled one, and he did all that album. He was a drummer, but he wrote pretty much everything for that album. Okay. And I feel like after that, it kind of just fell through.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not about an Avenged Sevenfold kind of guy, I guess.
You're not?
No.
Okay, I'm leaving.
No, I just like I've seen them live.
Yeah.
I think I like bands with the whole package,
Okay.
I guess. The Gnars to me are like the whole package band in the scene. Like everyone just is like almost there. They're like, oh, right there, almost. But them, just the way they play live, they have a fun live show. But like when I look at the Avenged Sevenfold and I've seen them live, I'm like, this is boring.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. When did you see them?
2000 and I want to say 10 or 11.
What? No. I disagree with you completely. I think that was their best years. I think the recent albums are, it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of boring now.
I don't know, dude. It's just the way the guitarists play. They don't even seem like they want to be there.
Really?
The singer isn't that good of a frontman, honestly.
Are we talking about the same band?
Yeah, dude. Well, I've seen great bands. I have high expectations.
I think
especially signed bands like that.
I think they had the whole package during that time because they had the Rev and he's like a god on drums. And then I think Matt Shadow, his vocals are really, really good.
Yeah, they're good, but like I'm not down. I don't really care if you have good vocals. If you can't be a great frontman and like kind of.
Where'd you watch them?
At a festival.
Oh, okay, maybe it was that. Maybe it was that it's a festival or
no,
something.
Dude, it was fine. I was just like, okay, this is cool. Like I've seen other bands, like the guy from Law Dispute. That guy, like all he did, like he's jumping around. He's really getting in like the crowd going and everything. What's his name from KJ Elephant? I don't know his name. Like those guys just have like a certain energy.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like not a reincarnation of like Mick Jagger, but he has similar moves to him. But also he has like this like more hoppy step to it.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's younger too. But yeah, like I don't know. It just was all right. I wasn't like maybe my expectations were met because I didn't have high ones for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the frontman just like.
I think they're. Personally, I think they're one of the best bands I've ever seen live.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man, personally, them. I think probably just because I grew up with them. That's always been like a childhood dream to go see them live. So when I did finally go to see them live, expectations were met. Yeah.
Yeah, because my sister was kind of in the scene in a way, but she found out like right before they blew up.
Yeah.
Because they're from here.
Yeah.
And she showed me them, and I was like, "Oh, they're cool. That's awesome."
Yeah.
But it never hooked. I never got like the hook, I guess.
You didn't get hooked.
No.
What did you get hooked to then?
What?
What did you get hooked to then?
Stuff that I listened to back in that time, 2005 or 4, maybe at the time I was I listened to a lot of things, honestly. Mainly like the 3 bands that I listened to a lot of was like old Blink-182, like Dude Ranch and Older.
Yeah.
Weezer.
Yeah.
And like Slipknot. Like those are like the 3 main bands, but I would just like sprinkle into like all the Warped Tour stuff.
Yeah.
Like when like Fall Out Boy, before they came like Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
What's it called? Like My Chemical Romance, The Used. I would also just like blend in some like older stuff. I would get back into like Black Sabbath or like Kiss. And then after that, I haven't like listened to them like that ever since. Yeah. But, like that's what I usually were like listening to.
That's crazy that we have such different backgrounds of music.
I guess, but my mom is like the like main contributor to like all the stuff I listen to. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did she listen to?
She listens like, I don't know how she can listen to like and remember all these songs. Like a random song will come on. She'll be like, she likes listening to the radio. I don't do that anymore, unfortunately. But she'll like listen to like an old song and she'll like know every word. Like it's from the 70s. I'm like,
yeah. I think that's the same thing with me and my dad. He's the one who actually bought me my first kit because he used to play drums back in the day too. Okay. And his like idols were like the Police, the Eagles, America, those 70s, 80s band. And I think that had a lot of influence with me now, especially because before when I first started listening to music, I was into like metalcore and post-hardcore. So I would listen to a lot of like Chiodos, a lot of August Burns Red. And now I find myself listening to more like 70s and 80s, like Eagles, America, all those bands too. Yeah, because she got me into. She's the one that brought Korn home. Like she found out about Korn. Oh shit!
Yeah, Slipknot. She saw Slipknot at the Ozfest, like the first Ozfest they played at. She went to Cal Jams too, like back in the day, with like all the it wasn't like the year like the English bands. It was like all of like the American based ones. She saw like the Van Halen in the Backyard show. Yeah, she's like all into that kind of like music, and then she's into like country. She doesn't really listen to hip hop, but she listens to like a lot of R&B. I remember when The Weeknd was coming around, like on radio, and she was like listening to like an R&B like Pandora radio station. She was just like, I don't know what happened to my R&B station, but they're starting to play stuff where they talk about doing cocaine and stuff. I was like, they probably always been talking about that, but like this is a little bit more like blunt about it, I guess. But yeah, she's always like been a person that's like kind of just
like influenced.
Yeah, but she'll bring in like a random. Like I remember one time she was taking me to school, like in high school or junior high, and she put on Faith No More. I don't know if you ever heard of Faith No More. Fucking great band.
Yeah.
And like that's where I discovered like Faith No More, for like the official. I've listened to like one of their songs before, but I didn't know who it was. Like when you listen to a band, you're like, who is this? But you never. We didn't have the internet. Like I didn't have the internet like as like accessible, or it wasn't like, as easy to like to look it up as it is now. I'm like, who is that? And like you would never know. But like when she like put on Faith No More, I was like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, oh, it's Faith No More. You ever heard Faith No More? I was like, no, Mom, I haven't heard of Faith No More. But yeah, she was like always a person that would just bring in random bands, and then I would just eventually listen to them. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it does come a lot into play what our parents listen to, and even to this day, like my mom, she listens to like the old school like Mexican bangers, like the Ragers, like the house cleaning music. Even till this day, like I still listen to those. Yeah. They're in my playlist too. And it's just weird, like we grew up with it too. But if you really think about it, back in the day, they knew what was going on with music too. I feel like that music back in the day was like more iconic.
Well, in a way, but also there was no anyone that made music kind of made it.
Yeah,
in a way, like there was bands that obviously fell through the cracks, but not at the capacity that we have today.
Yeah,
because obviously there's a lot more people making music. I think the 80s kind of were a real explosion. Like it really happened with like new wave and like hair metal. Then eventually at the end of the 80s you got grunge, where people were just making bands to kind of fill in those spots. But obviously before that there was somewhat of a play of that with like the mainstream. But usually I would assume a lot of the bands honestly right now, if they were like put in older times, like in the 80s, they would definitely be like radio played.
Yeah,
they would be like, but also they wouldn't be a band unless some of those bands at the time came around.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I would say it's a lot easier to be played on the radio back then or be signed in general than it is right now. But also like the industry is like totally, it's
completely different.
180.
Man. Yeah, I think back in the day that's what was popular. Like soft rock and that type of music too. So I think you're right. It was easier to get signed and be radio friendly, but at the same time, I feel like they also set the standards too. Because there's some musicians that are like iconic that even like to this day now I can't think of him like just this iconic musician. What modern musicians do you know now that are like, oh my god, that guy's gonna be a legend?
There isn't, because it's so. There's more saturation to everything, so you're never gonna get any of those people, because I can use like the YouTube example. Like when someone tells you like, oh, do you ever heard of this YouTuber? I'm like, no, and like that YouTuber could have like 7 million subs to that guy, or 7 million people can watch that guy every day. That's like a big island. But then there's an island where like only 20,000 people watch this guy, but he also makes a living off of it. This guy has like 300,000, and that's like another way of looking at music. There's different islands. Like the biggest island is obviously like the radio island where all like the mainstream people go, but there's smaller islands. Like my favorite band, Foals, they're kind of part of like that island, but they're not as big in the US than they are like in Europe and like South America and like the UK. But like they still have like an island where like I would say more than a couple million people listen to them.
Yeah.
But that's because just the way the music industry is now. Like I said, there's different islands. Like if you look at my recent like downloads, like it's random as fuck. Like, I found this band in Russia that I'm listening to right now that has like 1,000 or like 2,000 people on Instagram listening or like followed, but I don't know how many plays they have.
Yeah.
But, like that's an island that I'm a part of now. Like
Yeah.
this small little island, but like it's different, I guess, in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Perfect sense. I feel you. Like right now, I think there's only like 1 or 2 good bands that I've been listening to lately. That's like every single song I've liked. But you're right about the saturation. Just like the YouTubers, you know, like there's a bunch of YouTube drummers now. Back in the day, it was just like Cobus. I don't know if you've seen or heard of him.
Probably. I probably watched a video. I've been on YouTube since almost the initial start. I think I started doing YouTube videos in 2009, actually.
Yeah. I think he was like the guy who got drum covers like really popular. He got them really big.
Okay.
And now there's all these new guys like Luke Collin doing all these flashy things, and it's saturated, you know?
Well, I don't want to say saturated bad. It's just saturated where there's niche now. Like you don't have to have the one person. Everyone gets a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Like even with comedy too. Like I remember I listened to Joe Rogan. And he talked about like how like there's a limited amount of spots, like late night TV and like the specials. They'd be a limited amount every year. But now like you have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have the like YouTube where people do specials on that. It's like crazy, like where people can do all that stuff. And also there's comedy places across the country now, like so many variety of like places like that where comedians can kind of really thrive. It's been like crazy. But yeah, music, it's like different, I guess also. But yeah, dude, like finding out bands, like I don't know, I'm not trying to be like the cool kid where I'm like, oh, listen to this new band I found. But I'm like, dude, this band's really like I like a band so much, so I'm like, yo, dude, check this band out. Like to my regular friends, but my friends that are not in the scene. Have you ever watched my Snapchats? But like I don't have a lot of people on Snapchat anyways. But on my Instagram, I guess sometimes like if you look at my personal stories, like you'll be like, I'll be hanging out with my regular friends. But, like not that like they're just like regular friends that are not in the scene, I guess. That's what I call my regular friends. Not that anyone else in the scene is not my friends. Like we're friends.
We're friends.
But
I hope.
yeah, we are. No, but like when I go to them, they're like, oh, dude, check this band out. Like, oh, dude, this is sick. But like they won't continue to listen to it obviously because they're gonna listen to their stuff. But there's some of the bands like they'll listen to, and they're like, dude, I really like that band you showed me the other day.
Yeah,
so
I get that vibe all the time, man.
Yeah, but like people are like, Richard, what do you listen to? I was like, oh, I'm listening to this. And they're like, oh, dude, this is sick. But yeah, I definitely have a good music taste because like I've been told that I don't, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their own good music taste.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
No, I think regular people don't have music. Like regular people that don't do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like listen to music the way we do. Some people just put it on the radio and like that's what they like. I get that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of much better stuff out there that you can be listening to. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there too. But I feel like there's a reason. There's a reason why those artists are on the radio too. You know?
Well, also because stuff is like being overproduced. I think as well. Like when you look at the writers on behind certain songs, like if you look at the Grammy nominations, and like
and you see how many writers and producers
I'm like, whoa,
are
dude,
there.
like we might need to like look at this and see, like, not that it's a problem, but I'm just saying like, yo, like maybe we should have categories where like there's not a whole like
a whole team behind you.
Yeah, in a way.
I feel you there.
Like I don't have a problem with like a producer working with you.
But not 12 producers.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, dude, this is ridiculous.
And then you listen to the song, and it's like, why did this song need 12 producers?
Yeah, but like that's I guess what that is nowadays. You gotta have like certain names on there to make
it big,
or to be like oh, you had this guy on your producer list. Like, oh, you're gonna get a nomination now for the Grammys or something like that. I'm like, I don't get that. Like when you like, I think the most purest probably like categories in the Grammys is like the rock and like alternative categories because like it's just the bands and maybe a producer after that. That's really it. But like when you and it's not like I don't like Taylor Swift. I fucking love Taylor Swift. I love me some Taylor Swift. But when you look at her list, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, god damn. Do you know how to write a song? What's going on here?
I think that they have a lot to do influencing the artist sound too. Yeah. At that point, are you really listening to the artist or are you listening to the producer?
Yeah, Rihanna's like another one. Yeah. Where I've definitely lost a lot of respect. Beyonce too, another person I lost a lot of respect for. It's not that I'm like, I want to hear you guys. I don't want to hear some fucking like Lady Gaga got her start. She wrote songs for like other artists, and then she was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself."
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not as pure. But I also can. You can also make the argument for people like, oh, like, but it's a good song though. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, it's if you enjoy it, yeah, more to you. But I think there's better stuff. Yeah, there definitely is better music. Because I have a friend where she just listens to the same 5 songs. In a way, like if you ever go to if I ever go to like a party and like she becomes DJ,
and
I always there's these 5 songs, and then there's like these 5 new songs that she always introduces. And then maybe like out of those, like it's probably more than 5 songs, but it seems like it's 5 songs. But like there'll be like one of the 5 and from the new one will come to the 5. And I'm like, yo, dude, like every time we come to a party and you have the same playlist, dog. Like, come on,
switch it up,
dog.
I feel like finding new music is part of life too, though. You know,
I like listening to random old shit.
Yeah.
That I've been really getting into, like the React. Have you heard of the React channel?
Mm-mm.
It's where people like react to music, I guess.
Oh,
like
okay.
TV shows. There's probably bits. You've probably seen bits of it.
Bits of it, yeah.
But there's like random stuff where like, teenagers listening to music from the 70s. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I go and I find artists like the one-hit wonder ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is sick. I want to fucking listen to this. And then like maybe I might find another 2 more songs.
Yeah.
But then I also look at like bands that I totally forgot about. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta go listen to this shit right now.
Back in the day we had like those iPods, right? I had one of the like really big fat iPads that was like 200 gigabytes or something like that, and I remember I had like a really long playlist.
Yeah.
And when I lost that iPod, like I didn't know what to do anymore. I was like, and so to this day now, I'm like, I can't switch music servers. I'm on Apple Music. And,
And
Apple Music. If you tell me go to Spotify, I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna do it. Not because if you think of it as an audio perspective, Spotify has higher audio quality than Apple Music, but the reason I don't do it is because I don't want to lose my playlists.
I just like iTunes. I like the interface way better than Spotify. I think it's easier to use, but I think Spotify you could probably customize a little bit more, but I don't care about that. Like, I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, my playlist, but I have like when you go into like iTunes, like you have like, oh, this is for you. This is like your weekly playlist. Like they customize for you.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm pretty sure Spotify does that as well, but like I like the mixes that they throw in for me.
Yeah.
But also, they have like essentials.
Yeah.
I guess. And then like so if I get it back into a band, I like listening to those. Or if I get into a band, I listen to those. And then I go from there to the albums and then listen to them. And then like back, because I'm like a guy that listens to stuff like back to front. I hate hanging out with someone and like they skip the song. I'm like, I don't care if you aren't into the song right now. I'm into the song. Like if you're going to play shit, like play the whole shit. Like I want to listen to it.
I really like Apple Music too because they have that little friend feature, I think. And you can go into someone else's music playlist too, and you can just vibe off of those too. I'm not sure you've seen that before.
No.
Yeah, you make your own profile, and whatever playlist you want, you can make it public. Okay. And then you can share them, and your friends can share their music too.
Okay. Well, I have an above ground one that I've been kind of doing, but like some of the people don't have Apple. Don't have it on Apple. But I also have ones I just have like randomly. Like I have like a workout one. Or that one's like kind of like my bread and butter. That's probably my not my best playlist, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, like a workout one, a chill one, a sex one.
I guess maybe it's just the workout one. But yeah, playlists are like that's like my thing too to do because like we don't have we can't make CDs or anything like that. You know what I mean? No one has time for that shit.
Yeah.
Even though like there's a lot of effort into it, but I'm like. Nah, I'm good.
Back in the day, how many songs were you able to put in like the MP3 discs? Like 20 songs, 25 songs?
I think so, dude.
I forgot. And then
I think it got to a ridiculous size where you can actually put like a lot of songs onto it, but
because there were like MP3 discs and you put MP3 files on it.
The problem too with that though, I remember because like there's certain disc readers that are like say, oh, track 1, track 2, track 3, but like when you play the original disc off of whatever you got, it'll actually say the song title and the artist. Yeah. I like that a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to input. I don't know how you would be able to, I need to have it like more genuine, like for me sometimes. In a way, if that makes any sense.
Like you need to have it listed out and
Yeah,
clear.
like when I listen to it and like if I put it on my car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no, my car can't do that. My old car used to, but I'm like real picky about it. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I don't like seeing track 1, track 2, but then also it's kind of cool in a way. I guess.
I feel you. I feel like that's a deciding feature in most cars nowadays. Like you have to have Bluetooth, and it has to display the album artwork, and it has to display the song name, everything.
Well, I'm not that
really,
much.
I'm
into
really
cars.
picky about
Okay.
that stuff too.
Okay.
Like it needs to be organized like that too.
All right. Okay. I get you. I'm not into cars in a way. I'm just like a to B. Like people, my other job for the school district, I remember guys were talking about like cars, and so I was like, "What about you, Richard?" I was like, "Yo, dude, I just need a car to get to A to B. Like, these things are really irrelevant for me, honestly."
I agree with you there too, man. Like I feel like we put a lot of focus on the car. For me, I do.
Yeah, but that's your
I
thing,
do
though.
take care of my car a lot.
Yeah.
I just feel like it needs to be clean all the time. But it being the fastest car on the road, or it being this highly modified thing, I'm not into that stuff. I mean, I'm more into like making my car look nice and clean, and A to B, of course. I drive a Corolla, and I drive a Camaro. I've been A to B. They both gave me A to B, and I don't prefer driving either or. It doesn't matter to me at this point.
You just look better in the Camaro.
So, some may say I look better. Some may say I look like a douche.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. They're driving the Camaro. Everybody and their mom wants to race you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like I can't afford this. Like my gas, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that.
I'm trying to get home right now.
Yeah.
dude. That's another thing too, because I just don't like. I like the Fast and the Furious movies, but when like people are trying, I'm like, yo, dude, what the? There's like you. My problem is like you have like no. You don't care about other people around you. Like you can hurt someone. With
Yeah.
it. Like that's what the part of like that as well. Why I don't like looking at cars or care about that, because like usually those people, that's what they're doing. They're like racing. Like they're idiots, and like they're revving the engines next to you, and you're like, I'm like, dude, like what the fuck are you doing? Come on.
And it's all fun and games till someone gets hurt.
Exactly.
You know?
That's yeah.
And then that person can either learn or make the mistake again.
Yeah. But I don't know. We got into like that. I don't think that was even a topic, honestly.
That was not a topic.
But that's fine. That's okay. We still have enough time to talk about stuff, but we're gonna get into the third song.
Okay.
This is an awesome new band that I discovered on Bandcamp, actually.
Nice.
But they're actually a local band-ish. They're from LA.
Okay.
But LA is kind of far-ish too. This band's called Thurst. The song is called For Any Kind of Feeling and Joy.
Telegraphing every single feeling they've had, and it's just now they told you that you gotta
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Thurst for Any Kind of Feeling. I'm pretty sure I pronounced Thurst right, hopefully. Awesome band from LA. Hopefully we can get them onto a show for the Above Ground Music shows that we have. Technically, this one won't come out until not next week, but it'll come out the week after because I like being ahead in a way. But I do have 2 shows confirmed real quick on the 18th of January and then the 21st of February, I believe. So I'm in the works of submitting all that, and then hopefully I can get some other venues to let me have some shows there. But regardless, let's get into our question of the recurring question of the podcast.
Oh man,
you've obviously listened to these,
yes,
once or twice at least. The recurring question is not a fantasizing, killing little kids question. It's just like a fun video game question that we like to have fun with. Have you ever played Dante's Inferno?
No.
You actually kill little babies in that one.
Really?
But they're like demon babies that weren't baptized and stuff. It's real dark, but there's where you actually kill babies. But this is not where this question came from. But Juan, in a scenario where you are gonna die regardless, but you are being surrounded by 8 to 7 year old or 7 to 8 year olds in a field where you're getting swarmed, and they're gonna kill you. But how many of them are you going to take out before they take you out, sir?
Do I have any weapons?
No.
Because I'm in a field now. Huh?
So yeah, you're bare hands, young man.
Bare hands. I'm going to have to hit them. Are they demons or are
they just
they okay?
when like they're on like a sugar high.
They're on a sugar high.
But it's not. I mean, some 7, 8 year olds sugar highs are just. They're not too bad, but like they get a little crazy.
Fuck it, I'd probably take out like 16.
16?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because I think 7, 8 year olds are still small and like they don't weigh anything, so you can just like bop them in the head.
I would know this. I have a couple of nieces and nephews that are around that age.
You just bop them, use your weight against them, put a boot to the face,
Like kick to the face.
Yeah. Just
elbow to the
I think a good 16
Good 16.
before they overcrowd me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Daryl Blake or DW Blake it depended on, he imagined like the bodies like piling up, and he was like, well, if I get enough bodies to pile up, they were going to have to climb to me. So it's going to be a lot easier to take them out. And I was like, wow, dude, you really thought about this.
How is he going to pile them up when they're all coming towards you?
Well, like say like they're not like all going to come at once at one direction.
It'll be like zombies.
Like in a way, it was a
zombies.
weird wave. Like one will be like 10 feet behind the other one or something like that. It won't be like too like compact, but I was like, oh man, you really thought about this. And then John that I did last week from the Gnars, he was like straight up 200. Little kids are stupid. And I was like, fuck. I was like,
straight up.
Yeah. I was like, god damn, dude, what a savage.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for answering that.
Yeah, of course.
Like I said, we're not fantasizing.
We're not.
It's all theoretical, I guess, or hypothetical. But yeah, let's get into promoting. I already did my already squeezed that in. Because the show I would have had the week before this is going to come out has already happened.
Okay.
Technically. But, sir, let's promote you, your bands, your recording stuff, and any other shout outs. So let's put this mic right on your face.
Shout outs to my boy Charlie, my boy Aiden, his dad Jamal, Mount Mars.
Is that like a joke?
It's an inside joke. He knows what I'm talking about. Whenever you ask Aiden, hey, where's your dad? He's like, Jamal? I'm like, yeah, where's he at? And so we had this vibe going that, I don't know if you know Janet, Charlie's girlfriend.
Yes.
She works at Popeyes.
Oh, okay.
So she goes and meets Jamal at Popeyes.
Okay, I got you.
So yeah, my boy Mount Mars, and my boy Chulo Dough. Yeah. Nothing to promote right now other than we're having a EP listening party on the 21st. We're just going to listen to it and vibe to it. We just finished recording the EP, and I'll tell you this, it's been the longest recordings I've ever done.
Okay.
Just because I feel like Brian is like the most psychotic, annoying person in the world, and being in a band with him is horrible. I like the dude when we're not talking about music, when we're drinking, when we're out. I love him, but when we're in a band, it's just different. Like he's really anal about everything.
Okay.
And he'll overthink things too, So you know how I sent you the song Today?
Mm-hmm.
That song that I just sent you, little things were changed between last week and this week, because I told you I was going to send it to you last week, right? I sent it to him. It was changed 6 or 7 times already.
Jesus.
Yeah. And just because he's like, if the bass could be up 1 decibel, and he's like, if you can make this snare hit just a little bit louder right here, or he'll be like, hey, I was showing this to someone, and they mentioned that the guitar sounded funky right here, so fuck that, we're just gonna record the whole thing again. and I'm like, what the fuck? So I feel like whenever we have to release something, I'm like, hey, I'm not sending you shit until the day or 2 before, so you have to make a decision quick, you know? But
I would probably do it that way.
Because he's so anal, though, I feel like it's probably the best sounding stuff I've ever done. And it's also the slowest type of thing I've done. Just because, like, with Goons, I'm more like a thrasher, pop punk, electronic feel where it's like high tempo. With Melt Mars, it's really slowed down. I think the most common tempo with him is like 80 or 90 beats per minute. So to me, it's been really good for exercising the slow temper and making sure that my beats are on time. Because I feel like it's easier to play faster than it is to play slower.
Okay.
Because you have to gauge the time in between the beats. But yeah, it was a lot of fun recording this EP. We have a couple members in the band that you guys probably know. Nothing's set in stone yet. I feel like we've only had 2 shows, so if you guys want us to play your shows, hit us up, or hit us up at Melt Mars Band on Instagram. And like I said, nothing's set in stone yet. If you want us to play your show, hit us up. I think our members that we have going on right now, I think we're all pretty devoted to the band. And it was just a crazy thing. It was a project that came into mind. Me and Brian and Darnell have known each other since we were little kids, like 12 years old. And at first I hated Brian, and I still kind of hate Brian today. I still kind of hate him today. And whenever you hang out with Brian, you'll see like he's always drunk. He's always drunk. But then the next day he's like, hey, I wrote a new song. I'm like, oh man. And then Darnell, he's like the opposite of Brian. He's like the sweetest little kid. That guy's a god, though, when it comes to, like, music. Like, he's one of the best bass players I know, one of the best guitarists I know. And he'll call you out, too. Like, he'll be like, hey, this is not, in key, or stuff like that, too.
It's like, hey, dude, you suck.
Yeah. Yeah. He's called me out, too. Like, hey, you're not on time. And I'm like, I'm not on time? Like, I was listening to the metronome the whole time. Like, yeah, you were on top of the beat. You were rushing the beat. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So there's that. And then, our bassist, so let me backtrack a little bit. The bassist, we had to go through a lot of bassists at first because we had auditions, and it was really hard picking a bassist just because some of them were friends, some of them were people that got the parts but they didn't vibe with us, and then some people couldn't play the parts at all. And our bassist was just the guy who showed interest. He hit us up first for it too. And he just got the parts down. I feel like that was like the main thing too. Like, he got the parts down. We already knew him. He was vibing with us, and he just got the parts down. So we just stuck with him. He looked like he wanted to do it too. And yeah. So there's that with Melt Mars. With Goons, we're not really doing much right now. We're just writing new material. We are recording a song called Luna. I'm not sure if you heard it. It's like a half Spanish, half English rock song. And it's more of a thrasher song. It's more of a Avenged Sevenfold-ish song.
Okay.
So there's that, and no shows lined up first. I think we're trying to get more music out first before we start playing again. Okay. So there's that. So yeah, I guess like the biggest thing right now that we just did was the EP for Melt Mars.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I think that's it. You already did your shout outs. Go check out Melt Mars. Go check out the Goons. Also, we did with Charlie. I did a Above Ground music podcast interview with him as well. You can go check that one out as well. It should be on the playlist on SoundCloud. And then there's a playlist on the YouTube channel on College Avenue.
Cool.
So if you guys want to go check out that one, there it is. Yeah, that's it for promoting, right? That's it. No more shout outs. We're good.
Did I shout out Charlie?
Well, you did. Yeah, you did. That was the first.
He told me if I didn't shout him out, he was gonna get mad. But I shout out Jamal too for sure. So Jamal's my homie.
Okay, cool. I think we're good then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We are going to get into the last song of the podcast, and that was our previous guest that I've already mentioned, John Reyes from the Gnars, the man himself. This is the Gnars Scab. Enjoy.
I like them. I like them. How many kids did you say you were going to take out?
Alrighty, sir. We have one more bit of things to talk about. Obviously, we did a pre-interview to this in a way, but we are going to talk about our past experience of. I mean, well, I kind of do customer service in a way, still in a way, but not really. But you do in general. Let's talk about that.
Man, I think November and December are probably the worst months for
I can agree
working
with
with retail or customer service.
Yes.
If you guys know me, you know I work retail. I'm not going to say where, just in case. But I work retail, and I feel like a lot of people lately have been coming in really pissed off, like for no reason. I don't know if you've ever you've worked in retail, right?
Yeah, I used to be a department manager in the electronics at Walmart.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I work at a phone carrier company, and it's like, hey, I don't know my Facebook password. Can you reset that for me? And I'm like,
really?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I don't know, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know your Facebook password either. Or they just come in, and like I said, I work at a phone carrier, so they just come in, and you just walk in the door, and you're like, hi, welcome, right? So just greet them, and they come up to you 714-7, and then I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, I don't know what you want to do. Like, do you want to make a payment? Do
you want to open up a line?
I don't understand. You just give me your phone number, right? I just feel like lately it's just been like people have been really moody. I don't know if you ever had an experience. I think most recently I had an experience where a lot of people, they come in, they're like, hey, they're hacking my phone. And I'm like, what? Like, they're hacking my phone. I don't know. They're following me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look. My phone, if you call it, like, someone else is going to answer right now. And I'm like, okay. So I call it and their phone rings. I'm like, okay, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens sometimes. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're like, okay, I need a replacement phone. I need a new number and you knew everything. I'm like, all right, cool. And so I'm like, okay, so I need to see your phone so I'm able to do this transaction. He's like, no, I can't have you see the phone or anything like that. And they're just like really paranoid too. I don't know if you ever had something like that happen to you in
not that crazy. I have, because Walmart used to have like you can look at stuff online and it'll say like, oh, this is in stock, but it's not.
And it's not.
No, because like when I look it up and on like the system, we have like these little handheld things where I can like look it up. It'll say we have one. But like in the back, we would have everything like binned in, and like I don't know if anyone knows what that means. So like it'll have a location to where it is. Like on the floor, like I'll go on the floor, which is like the sales floor, and like look, and I'm like, okay, it's on the sales floor. Is it binned? No, so it's on the back. So it's just either someone's just returned it, and it hasn't come back to us, or someone took it off the shelf and it's somewhere in the store that they just didn't want to buy it, so they put it on the side shelf, or it was stolen. Yeah. And I'm like, it says I have one. Obviously I don't have it right here. It's not in the back. We'll say we just got it returned like from like the front, like where, I don't know, like where, if you ever went to Walmart, you know where you return stuff. Well, so we get that stuff back. We just got our whole thing of stuff back. It's not in that pile. Either it's been stolen or it's in a random spot in the store. Or it for some reason in our system it says we have one, and I'm sorry that we don't have it in the store. And they're like, well, can you go find it in the store? I was like, no. Like I literally tell like, unfortunately, no, because we don't. If anything, it'll cycle back to us by the end of the night. We can't just send someone random person out looking for one specific item on a random shelf. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Facebook one, I think I've had something similar to that, but I'm like, we don't do that here. I would just literally tell them that, and then because I was in charge of like 12 people, I would tell them like, don't make sure we're not doing this kind of like stupid stuff. Like the phone, like the services that we did we had a computer system, but it wasn't like a computer system where we still had to call and set everything up. Everything we had to like do was set up. People would assume that we can just like plug the phone into the computer and it would just work.
It just works.
Yeah, but like, oh yeah, you could just make a SIM card. We didn't have like a machine to make SIM cards or like that. I'm like, we don't have the capabilities of doing that here. Yeah. And then we also had a video game section, so they would try to trade games in, and we're like, we don't do trades. We don't do trades here, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, well, it says on the app thing, I'm like, it says there, but I haven't been told that we do that, and also we wouldn't even be able to do it in the first place. Like, we would take it as a return, but we can't do that because like you didn't buy it here in the first place because they didn't have a receipt.
That something like that happened to me too, where like they come in and they're like, hey, customer care said that I can walk out of here with the phone zero down, nothing out my pocket, nothing like that. And I'm like, customer care said what? Yeah. And I'm like, fortunately, customer care doesn't work in the store, so they don't know your credit, they don't know anything. So unfortunately, we have to do all this, and you're probably gonna have to walk out of here paying something. So it's a back and forth type of thing where like customer care said this, here in store they're saying no, and then we come out as the bad guys. I don't know if you ever had an issue where it's like they come in and they're like, how come you cut my service? And I'm like, well, you didn't pay your bill. And he's like, but I've been with you guys for 13 years. I'm like, yeah, but you still didn't pay your bills. If you didn't pay your bill, then there's not going to be service. Yeah. I can't believe you guys are doing this to me. I've been with you guys for 13 years. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you have to pay your bill, Yeah. Or I've had people come in. This one guy came in and he was like, hey, I just need to make a payment. I'm like, sure, let me get your name down on the list. How many people are on the list? I'm like, 7 people. We'll be with you shortly, My kids are in the car. And I'm like, okay, but there's 7 people on the list that we have to help before we can get to you. Like, you don't care about my kids? And I'm like, hey, it was your decision to leave your kids in the car.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're being rude to me. I'm going to call corporate. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. We would have people try to hold stuff.
Yeah.
I would tell, like, if anyone, I told, like, my employees, I was like, yo, if anyone calls you to hold something, like, say, like, okay, we have this many in stock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you will definitely have it here, if you get here, but we can't, like, I told them, don't hold anything unless we have, like, one of it.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have one of it, if we have 2 of them,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, we can hold, like, tell them we have 2 of them. Like, no one's probably going to come in and buy it. But, like, then we would have some people that wouldn't listen and it would hold something. And then someone would put it in a random spot in, like, behind the counter. No one would know about it. They wouldn't tell anyone about it. And then, like, the person would come in like, oh, so-and-so told me, or coming in for something, an item for being held. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, great. Someone, who is this? And then they'll tell me the name, and then I'll have to talk to them, like, after. Because, like, say they left, like, they clocked out or something like that. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks. And, like, they didn't tell anyone, but I go look. I'm like, okay, let me go look behind the counter real quick. I don't see it regardless, but I have it right here on the shelf. But, like, it'd be, like, there'd be some items that weren't the exact thing they wanted, but they assumed that we had it or something like that was being held. I'm like, this is, I guess, what they were being asked to hold. But, like, oh, I don't want that one, though. I'm like, this is what we have available. Like, what can you have? Do you have the other one? I'm like, no. I'm like, yo, I guess it's not how it works here.
You know, and this takes me back to a tweet that I saw from, I forgot which one of the actors from The Office. Do you watch The Office?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I haven't watched.
They would ask him, like, if we were to bring The Office back, do you think it would survive in today's climate? And they said no. So I feel like today's climate, with people being sensitive and you can't assume anything anymore, and you have to just treat everyone like gods, pretty much. It affects these guys that work at retail and doing customer service, And if you are working retail or customer service, anything like that, working with people during the holidays, I salute you. Like, you're a trooper. I think we need to have a retail holiday or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. There's people just are difficult. Like, I'm more than able to work with someone that has, like, an issue as long as they're calm. But, like, when someone's, like, getting mad or shoving their phone in my face, I'm like, whoa, okay, calm down. Like, I'll go in the back just to be like, I'll be right back and go check in the back, and I'll just go back and, like, not even be checking. I'll be like talking to someone else for, like, a little bit there, because, like, they're rude. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Sometimes you have to take a breath and you're just like,
yeah, I definitely
take it personally.
The holidays when I was working there was crazy, but I was okay. I was able to, like, compose myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being rude and stuff, that was just like another thing.
You have to come in with the good attitude, man.
Oh, but another thing too, a lot of people are kind of asking for it for how they talk to people, because some people that I've worked or that were working under me talked like normal, like how they would talk regularly. I'm like, yo, you can't talk like that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a little bit, like, what do you mean?
Yeah. You have to be polite too at the same time. It's on our end too. But if you're being polite and they're just being dicks to you, then that's a whole different
Yeah, you
story.
just got to take it.
Yeah.
But also I've definitely had people literally, they clock in and, like, there's something wrong. I'm like, yo, you can't also be bringing that shit to work.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, you're having a bad day. If a customer, then yeah. But when you're already clocking in, dog, and you're just like,
you just came in pissed off.
I'm like, yo, this is not a thing right now. You got to, like, compose yourself.
Yeah.
But at Walmart, definitely, there's a lot of people that act like they're still in high school, like, that I work with. But then also people that come in are just like, what the fuck? Like, I do DoorDash at the moment.
Yeah.
And I remember there's been I've done a lot of orders, but like, I haven't had that many complaints at all. If anything, it's just the customer being really picky. But I have had orders where I've gone to the place and I'm like, hello, like I'm here or whatever, and like, well, I'm not there yet. And I was like, what do you mean you're not here yet? And I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm on my way or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so what would you like me to do? Because I'm unfortunately have to do other orders, and I'm not gonna be, like, standing here forever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm gonna be there in, like, 20 minutes. I'm like, then I turn, like, we are able to turn our app, like, a thing on to where, like, well, if you're not here in the next 10 minutes, I have to cancel the order. She's like, you can't just wait there for me? I'm like, no, because we don't get paid by hourly.
Yeah.
We get paid to do each order. And then she was like, okay, well then just leave it there. I was like, okay, all right, cool.
It's crazy. You would never do that to a pizza delivery, man. Why a DoorDash guy?
Me? What do you mean?
Like, if you order pizza, you have to be at the place where you get the pizza delivered, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would you do something like that to a DoorDash guy? You know?
Yo, well, yeah, but it's food too. I'm like, this isn't like an Amazon, like we're delivering stuff. Like, but then there's people like the app doesn't work well. I'm gonna be honest right now, it does not work well. Where people like they want the order at a specific time, but DoorDash people are gonna be way quicker.
Yeah,
and they want to get in and out. Like people don't understand. Like we don't get paid hour. Like we have to get in and out. We want to do as many orders as we can. Like it's nice. I will accommodate a person for like no more than 5 minutes, because after that, then you're cutting into my time.
Yeah,
to do more stuff, and I don't want to have to work extra to like do stuff in a way. But definitely it's like dealing with people. Like the other day, a person didn't want to give me their gate code because they wanted me to wait for someone to open the gate. That was another like their neighbor, and I had another order with me, so I had to like, okay, well I'm telling them like, hey, I have another order with me. I can't make this customer wait because you don't want to let me in. So can you like let me in? And then like another person just like showed up. I was there for like 5 minutes waiting for the gate for someone to show up, and then I told him like, yo, this is you can't. I don't know if it's gonna work. I was gonna tell him like, well, I'm just gonna deliver this other order. You can text me your gate code by the time I get back. I was really gonna do that, but I didn't have the opportunity. But I'm just like, this is food delivery, guys.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like this picky. But also like people get mad on like an order that might have gotten messed up in a way, but like we can only see the container. I'm not gonna like taste your food to make sure like, oh, there's no onions in it or something like that, or it tastes like this. Like I can only accommodate for what you can do. And like another thing too is like the restaurants are pretty fucking, they're so annoying because there'll be orders like, oh, we can't make this shake, but we can you call the customer? I'm like,
no.
That's you guys, because you guys are the one preparing it. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't you guys call them? It's like, oh, well, we're real busy. I'm like, there's no one fucking here. What are you talking about? I'm just like, yo, come on. You're just delaying this shit for like no reason. Like you're being an idiot too.
I've had that where, because I think I don't know if I did Postmates or Uber Eats. I did one of those, and I would get to the restaurant and it's like the food's not ready yet. I'm like, it took me 20 minutes to get to the restaurant. What are you talking about? Yeah, whatever. So then you wait there and you're chilling there, and then they fuck up the order.
Yeah, another.
But what were you saying?
Well, another thing too is like they don't respect like the DoorDash customers at all, because they don't see them, because like they're like, oh, we're not getting a tip from these people. Yeah, or like we don't want to, or they're going to be pushed down to the bottom of the barrel or like the bottom of the list. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. Like they're still paying you guys.
Not just that too, but then honestly, all we do is just deliver the food. We don't make it. We don't make sure everything's. I when I did it, I was like, okay, we have napkins, we have utensils, we have the sauces they wanted. Okay, that's it. Anything else above that, I'm like, we can't do. You know, if they mess up, if they put the wrong soda in you, I'm not gonna taste the soda for you. You know. Yeah. So I think you're right. Like fucking some of these jobs, it's just like, dude, it's. Don't be too picky.
Well, not be too picky. Just be reasonable. Yeah. That's it. Like there's limitations to what we can do. Like all I can really do is like look. Like I remember there's a Chick-fil-A order where they apparently gave me the wrong sandwich, or the person that ordered it said like, oh, this is the wrong food. I'm like, I'm not gonna take your sandwich out, open it all up with my hands and check if like there's certain things. Like, I'm gonna see, okay, they have fries, they have the burger, and then they have your sauces. That's it. I'm not gonna open like every single one up, because also then your food's gonna get cold. Yeah. So I'm like, and then you're gonna complain like, oh, my food's cold. I'm like, you gotta have it. You gotta have one way or the other, dude.
And then they take it out on you on the app.
Yeah. And then also, well, I take it out. Wait, the cool thing about DoorDash, you're allowed to like put stuff input, which I like, and then it actually is a benefit, which I've found out anyways. But like Wingstop. That greasy ass food, obviously, because the French, like all that shit's like made fresh. But like their wings, like they heat up the bag, and the bags aren't made really well. But like it leaks automatically, no matter what. Like, and then people get mad. I'm like, dude, I've done so many Wingstop orders. Like this happens like all the time. Like I don't know what you want me to do. Like it's in the bag, it's here, it's warm. You can eat it. If you don't fucking like it, then fucking go to the actual place and eat it there.
Have you ever had someone cancel on you and then you keep the food?
Oh, it's only happened like less than a handful of times. But yeah, I've had that happen. I've gotten a couple free meals out of it, which is nice.
It's pretty cool.
I've gotten something where I already ate dinner and I just gave it to my parents, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. We got free lunch for them." So I was like,
"That's cool."
Or if anything, I got stuff, and I'll offer like, "Oh, you want to try this?" I was like, "Oh yeah." I've gotten Wingstop before, or no, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, that's a good one right there.
Well, it wasn't the flavor I liked, but I took it. So it was
what flavor was it?
Like the really, really hot ones.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, fuck. I had to get like extra. Had to get extra ranch out of my fucking fridge for that one.
For that, fuck that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, because another thing too. The last thing I want to say, they'll put it in the wrong address because they'll deliver at work and at home. And I had a guy. I went to Orange Coast College, and he input like. That was his like last time he delivered, and he didn't change his address. And I called him like, "Hey, I'm outside. I'm not sure if like I need to go into a classroom because it didn't say a classroom or anything like that. Am I meeting you like on the corner or something like that?" He's like, "Oh, I put the wrong address in. I'm in Orange."
Fuck that.
I'm like, he's like, "Can you drive here instead?" I'm like, I'm gonna call the app. He's like, "Well, I'll pay you more or something like that." I was like, "I'm still not gonna take that regardless." But so I called the app and I was like, "Hey, this guy put the wrong address in." It's like, "Oh, sorry, but like I got free wings out of it, but the problem was I only got paid for half the order," which I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
You didn't even want wings.
Yeah, I didn't want wings. I was like, I was like gonna get something else after, but I was like, "God damn, dude!" But fuck, I guess I'll take the wings.
That's happened to me too because I used to do Uber as well, like driving Uber, and people would put the address that they wanted to go to as the pickup, and the destination, the address that they're at. So I would go to the place they wanted to go, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here at Irvine Spectrum. Where are you at?" It's like, "Oh, I'm still in Anaheim." Like, "Why'd you go to Irvine Spectrum?" Like, "You put in here that your pickup was Irvine Spectrum," and so they get mad. Like, "Can you drive from Irvine to Anaheim? Like, I'll pay you more." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah,
I'm already here.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll just cancel the trip and
you can find someone else.
But Uber does this thing where like if the customer doesn't show up after like 5 minutes, then it gets canceled. You can cancel it and there's like no penalty to you. And you still get paid like the service fee. So it's okay. The thing that sucked is that I drove to Irvine Spectrum.
Yeah. That sucks. Yeah, because my dad does Uber. He makes fat money on Uber. Like I talked to him this past weekend. He was like, "Yeah, I made $200 today." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, ridiculous. And he only did like 2 trips or something like that.
Uber is good money if you know where you're at, like what to do and where you're going. It's pretty good money. Yeah. I know if you work like the bars on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can walk out with like $600. Yeah, easy, and you're working from like 9 p.m. to like 2 a.m.
The problem too, though, the downside is like getting like a real drunk person.
Oh yeah,
and they throw up in your car.
But even if they throw up in your car, you get a service cleaning fee. It's a pretty hefty one. One time someone threw up in my Nissan that I had before at the time. It was like $200 because they threw up in my car. Yeah. So there's that. I had to clean it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, my dad had that happen, and then the person tried to say like they didn't throw up in the car.
What?
Yeah. It was like a whole thing. It was like my dad was like, "They threw up in my car. Here's the pictures and everything."
Yeah.
And like the person tried to deny it because they didn't want to get the charge.
That's dumb.
Yeah. I'm like, but like, how are you that drunk, dude?
That
like,
you don't remember you threw up?
Like anytime I ever used Uber, I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, there's no way I can drive, but I'm like, I'm not
shit faced.
Yeah, like how do you? Out. I don't know. But I feel bad for people, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, dude, retail, delivery, all that stuff, all that shit's. Appreciate the people that are doing it. If you're that fucking lazy to not go out to get food, dude, come on. Hey, you can't be that picky.
People don't know this, but if you, let's say you rate your Uber driver a 1 star and he wasn't really that bad, you could cost him his job, what the heck?
Yeah, because the next person be like, for some reason, again, for no reason, or like the next 5 people, the 5th person after that. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know. And like, I don't know, like people are rude and I'm fine with that. Like to me, when I go drop them off, I'm like, "Hey, hello." And then they just like, don't say anything. They're like on their phone. Or they won't open the door, and then they'll be on the phone. And I'm like trying to call them and text them like, "Yo, like I'm here." Yeah. And they'll just be on the phone.
Fuck that.
Waiting. I'm like, okay, I put the timer on. Let's go. I'm waiting, dude. And then I have had someone like literally look at me in the mirror, like in between like the little thing and the door, the window. Yeah. And they're like still on the phone. I'm like, "Yo, I'm fucking right here. Come get your fucking food, dude. What the fuck? Don't be rude."
What the fuck?
And they're like,
1 minute.
Okay. That's fine. It's like almost like 3 minutes later. I'm like, yo, like I don't have time for this.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's a hustle.
It is.
That's the hustle right there.
Well, that has been it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And then crazy, get you out of here. It's like almost at 1, just a little bit after, so you have time for because you have work after this.
Yeah,
which is cool. John had to work after this too when I did the last one.
And then go do some customer service after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna work at. I start working at 4, but I'm gonna get something to eat because I'm fucking starving. Yes, that has been the Above Ground Music Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I've been very happy to have you, sir. I think this is my 12th one. So I've been almost doing this for, I think, 3 months now, which is crazy, which is awesome. Thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you guys, like I said, for listening. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our video version of this on the College Avenue channel and giving us a like button. That helps us out. Also, if you're listening on the audio versions, we are available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Podcasts, and Google Play. Just got to type in College Avenue. We should pop up now, hopefully.
You do.
And then, yeah, please considering following us there and liking those as well and helping us out. That the hearts, the 5 stars, and all that stuff helps us out and then helps us get into other places, I guess, or other ears and eyes and whatnot. And yeah, I'll go ahead and check out all the other ones we do too and all the other podcasts as well. I'm like been panicking. Like I'm kind of delaying to saying your last name again because I'm trying to like figure out how to say it again.
Norato.
But I'm saying like Naruto in my head every time.
You can say
like
it that way too.
Norato. But thank you, Juan Norato, for being here. It's been a blast.
Yeah, of course. Man.
Hopefully we can do this again eventually. I have too many people that are like, when am I going to be on the podcast? I'm like,
Bro.
I don't know, dude. I got so many people. I'm going to have a comedian eventually, a couple artists.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. A cosplayer. That's going to be sick.
Yeah, that's cool.
But like, I'm trying to like diversify it. Maybe have some of my professors on it eventually too, which would be fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Mix it up. Not just say like, no, we don't want to have music people on here, but like just have something more
Just diversity.
Yeah. Diversity.
Cool. Boom.
True diversity. But yes, thank you guys again. And we shall see you guys in the next episode.